I'm here at the hospital. I'm hooked up to an IV. In the IV is dextrose, which is sugar, and also what's it called? Lact ringers. I checked into the ER it was probably around 11 o'clock, and I was in the ER just vomiting nonstop. Couldn't hold anything down, even water, even ice chips. I tried ice chips, still threw those up. So I ended up caving and accepting 4 milligrams of Zofran, which I was assured was okay for pregnancy. They said that's really what they give all of the pregnant women. I have my own room. I'll show it to you guys. TV. My own bathroom. So it's not a bad setup. I'll keep you guys updated. Bye. Still here at the hospital. Last night was our second night staying here. I'm still hooked up to my IV. Right now I am supposed to be drinking a lot of water. They are going to be taking me down soon to do an ultrasound so they can just check on the baby. They really seem to think it was definitely food poisoning, which is scary. Definitely very scary. So I'm very excited that these are our final hours in the hospital. Yay! Hey, I'm finally back from the hospital. It was quite the harrowing experience. I've never been to the ER before. This is my first time going to the ER. So in some ways, it was sort of a nice trial run for when I'm gonna go and give birth. It was actually the same hospital where we're planning to have the baby. But I'd never been to the ER before, so I didn't realize that I'd have to sit in the waiting room for an hour. So I sat there in the waiting room just feeling horrible. Had my barf bag right there with me in the waiting room. They drew my blood. They saw that my potassium levels were low. They saw that I was dehydrated, so they decided to go ahead and take me back to see a doctor, and I just kept throwing up. We were actually on our way back from Key West for my sister's birthday, which we had a blast there, and we think we can trace it back to this one specific restaurant where we all ate some shrimp. The shrimp was cooked, so it's not like I was eating anything raw, but the shrimp must have been left sitting out, or some sort of bacteria was able to grow on the shrimp. So we all got sick. So it was me, my sister, and my dad. So we were driving back from Key West, and I could just tell something was not right in my stomach. Like, this did not feel like pregnancy nausea. This felt like something way more intense. So we ended up having to pull off the side of the road, and I was throwing up on the side of the road. We eventually made it back to my house, thank God, and I was just feeling horrible. I mean, I couldn't even keep water down. And then my sister and my dad both started also getting sick. So then we were like, okay, this must be something that we were all exposed to, not just pregnancy symptoms. So we still don't know exactly what it was. It could have been food poisoning. That's what we think it was, because we all showed symptoms within a few hours of each other, and within 6 to 8 hours of eating this shrimp that we think is the culprit. And it also could have been a virus, like the norovirus. It could have also been that. We still don't really know. At the hospital, they told me that there's really no way for them to know if it was food poisoning or if it was some sort of virus, but all they cared about was getting me hydrated and getting some potassium in my system. So I ended up having to stay there for 2 nights, which sucked. I was originally just supposed to stay there for 1 night, but I said, you know, before I leave, I really want to make sure that the baby's okay, and I'd like to have an ultrasound, or at least, you know, a fetal Doppler, just to check the heart rate. And they gave me a really hard time about the ultrasounds. They really didn't want to do it, and I said, you know, it would make me feel a lot more comfortable, and, you know, I realized that there might be additional costs for this, but I'd like to do it anyways. So eventually we were able to do the ultrasound, but we had to stay a whole extra night in order for us to have the ultrasound done, because apparently it was backed up in the ultrasound area. So I don't know if they were just trying to see if we would change our minds or if we were gonna stick it through to do the ultrasound. I don't know. But luckily we were able to see the baby and everything was fine. The baby was moving around a lot. It was really cool. And I'll put a picture up from the ultrasound there. The ultrasound machine there was really, really high definition. You could see so much. I felt like the image quality of that ultrasound was better than the ones that I've had at the doctor's office. It was awesome. So that was great. It was just nice to be reassured because, you know, food poisoning can have an effect on the fetus, especially if it's listeria. Listeria can cause major birth defects, premature birth, stillborn birth. So I wanted to make sure that everything was still okay. So I'm glad that I did that, and I'm glad that we kind of stood up for ourselves, because now you have to think about somebody other than just yourself. You have to think about this new little life that you're creating. So it was quite the experience. Food poisoning during pregnancy definitely sucks. I could tell that my body just wanted to get it out. My body just wanted to expel whatever it was that was inside of it. If it was a bacteria or virus, my body was just having this crazy reaction, which I knew was not pregnancy nausea. So if you think you're having food poisoning, you know, you'll be able to tell, like, from both ends. It was quite clear that this was not normal. So the most important thing was to stay hydrated, which I couldn't do because I couldn't even drink water or take the potassium pills that they needed me to take. I did end up taking 1 dosage of Zofran in order for me to take the potassium pills. It was 4 milligrams 1 time. I really didn't want to do it. I tried really hard. At first I told the doctor, no, I don't want any medication. And he looked at me like I was an insane person. And then finally I broke down after a few more hours of vomiting, and I said, okay, I'll take the Zofran. But I only did it once. I could have had it multiple times, so I tried to stick it through and be as natural as possible. But at that point, dehydration was worse than, obviously, you know, taking medication. So food poisoning during pregnancy, definitely not good. But I've been following all of these rules of what we're supposed to eat when we're pregnant, and, you know, you second guess everything that you're eating. And even though I've been careful, I still got food poisoning. So it's like, oh, what can I do? But hopefully, fingers crossed, that was the only time that I will have to go through that. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm going to make my 13-week pregnancy updates in a few days, so I'm really excited for that. And thanks for watching, guys. Bye.